white silence, I see storms and trees. I sit here far from you. I see something gaining lost again.
Yo La Tengo is Spanish for I've Got It. It's also the name of a band from New Jersey. They were formed in 1984 and they're still going. They've had a few changes of members, but given that this is nearly 40 years, not that many. Of course, in that amount of time, they've managed to create several albums. I have counted 17 on Wikipedia. They are not hugely commercially successful, but critics absolutely love them. Hi, my name's Dan. So this review is a request review. Occasionally I do these. They're just a little distraction from the main thrust of the channel. And the main thrust of the channel is to review the 3,000 greatest albums of all time, according to acclaimedmusic.com. And at this point, I'm nearly at 500 out of 3,000. So it looks like I might be able to keep going for a bit longer. We'll see how it goes. But as I said, I do occasional distractions. One of them is to do request reviews. If you want to request a review, just leave a comment on any of the videos on this channel. But in context, this one was requested about 3 months ago by somebody by the name of Dust Creeper, and I'm just getting around to it. So I don't get around to them very quickly, so you just have to be patient. And I'm not necessarily promising I'll do everything that I'm requested to, but I haven't got a huge number of requests sitting in my pile, so feel free to add to it. So this is my first encounter with this album. This is a new album that's come out this year. It's kind of hard to put it in a nutshell, I would say, but I'm going to have a try, of course. I would possibly describe it as drone and noise crossed with dream pop. It's certainly a thing of its own, really, and I'm not hugely aware of Yo La Tengo, but I have reviewed one of their considerably earlier albums fairly recently, and this is it has similarities, but it's not very much absolutely the same. So it's the dream pop element is mostly the vocals. The vocals are quite dreamlike. They're kind of the opposite of strident. Mellow, maybe is the right word. They're not full on kind of very dreamy, but they are somewhat, kind of as if you're kind of thinking about something else, really. The backing, though, is more strong than certainly than a lot of dream pop would be. It's more like kind of alt rock. It's kind of thicker, but it's got noise elements in it as well, by which I mean sounds in it that aren't musical or that are deliberately quite strongly discordant, particularly, some of the guitar playing, but there are other things in there as well that are noisy. It's also kind of drony at times, and that might sound like a negative word. I don't mean it like that. It's got kind of long, trance-like, repetitive elements that kind of just go on and on and on and on. Again, that sounds negative, but there's the kind of music that people use for, it's maybe a bit loud for meditation kind of music, but it's that kind of thing. Not all of it is, but there's definitely a big element of that going on. So Dust Creeper, the person who requested this review, mentioned krautrock in the request, knowing it was on a review where I talked about krautrock, and I have heard quite a bit of krautrock, and I like quite a bit of krautrock, and there's definitely elements of that in here. I can hear it, and it's that kind of ongoing, long, evolving soundscapes. Sometimes the term space rock might be applied for this sort of thing. It's maybe not quite as spacey as that. It's more kind of noisy drone. But anyway, yeah. Some bits are deliberately, as I said, there's noise in here, but there's deliberate discordance in here as well. There's a song called Tonight's Episode, which has a machine-like noise that just goes on through the whole track, as if somebody's, left some kind of noisy washing machine going on in the background or something like that whilst they're recording. I would definitely say it's not for everybody. I guess the question is then, is it for me? Did I enjoy it? And I'm not entirely sure. I kind of did to some extent, but I'm not kind of feeling a big kind of ravey. Yeah, this is brilliant. Feel about it. It's one thing I find quite curious is, and I'm finding it hard to kind of piece this together and articulate this, but it's deliberately quite ragged and unsophisticated in some ways, particularly in the production values. This is a thing, and they're doing it deliberately. But it has a strange kind of confidence to it, despite that. So it sounds like it should sound unconfident in the way that's been produced, but it isn't. It has a kind of inherent, an inherent chutzpah to it, for want of a better word. My favourite track probably is the first track, which is Sinatra Drive Breakdown, which is probably the one that reminds me the most strongly of krautrock stuff. And I kind of mildly enjoyed it. So, I'm sorry, Dust Creeper, if you were hoping I was going to be much more raving about it than that, but this is what I feel. But as always, I want to know what you feel. So please do talk to me about the album, about the review. But I'm going to say about anything you like. But no, let's keep it to the album stuff on the channel. I don't really want to know about any politics particularly. So that's it from me for now.
Looking at me like I lost my mind.